What's up, world? Yeah. Welcome to Cosmic Teaching Part 2. My own teachings, conscious teachings. Now in Part 1, I was teaching, like I said, it's my teachings. So I want to tell you and show you how this whole system works with religion. I told you that love was Love, and the numerology of it was number 70, which is number 8. Just based on these premises, this whole teaching I gave you is absolutely wrong. You see, this is how religion works. Because you don't know who is giving you the information, once they capture your soul and your attention, they can mislead you in any direction and create all sort of confusion to hack your spirit, body, and mind. To deviate you off your purpose and being and your confidence of who you are and the gifts within you, because I explained that within it, there's a trinity. So now, this is why we use numerology, because numerology is studied. They say men and women lie, but numbers don't lie. And numbers are frequencies. And since they are frequencies, they can express themselves based on that frequency. You can't change that frequency. So love in its actuality is number 19. Is it? Love itself is 18. And now you don't have to go, I don't have to explain it to you, because I've showed you how it's done based on the board. So with your preachers and your teachers and your monks and your gurus and your Rastafarians and your Buddhists and your Hindus, they cannot give you, they have it in their book, but the teachers who are teaching you the information are not giving you the information for you to be a student. That's why I led you to number 17 to get into number 8, to be able to explain the priest and their behavior and the God energy in that sense. Because we're talking about binary codes. So these numbers from 0 to 9 cannot be able to be twisted or manipulated. But right in front of the audience, I was able to explain this thing to correlate that to the God energy, love to the God energy. And I'll explain what love really is, because technically love is number 18, which equals number 9. And since it equals number 9, so this is 9. And I explained to you the 0 and 1, which comes back to the binary code, the 0s and 1, which is 0 and 1, then 2, 3, 4, and then repeats itself. But we're going to get into more in depth. Now, this love here, now this 5 here, this 4 here, because on the spelling of the word, because the word is a spell. So we're going to get into it on the second part. I want to explain why I gave you the first video to understand why the Bible is the word of the devil, the Quran is the word of the devil, the Bhagavad Gita is the word of the devil, the Rastafarians taking the information from the Bible, playing the same Abrahamic religion to play God on you, to decode it truly to you, how they can teach you the truth, but choose not to give you the truth because they've hacked your soul, because you are in a form of a cosmic journey, okay? So now, in their numerology, this is number 5, because E is number 5. From 1 to 5, E represents number 5. But you see what I did here was I put it as number 4. And that changed the equation to number 7, right? Or 17. And when if you replace that E and get into its accurate energy form, right? It becomes 5. And that makes it 18 rather than 17. And then it forms the number 9, which is the source energy. Because you're coming from a source that nobody can recreate you. Nobody can create you on earth except for sperm and eggs, okay? And I've told you the sperm and eggs equals your identity because it puts you together, but within it is your spirit. So you're a trinity of the male and the female energy, and you are the source energy. You have to define yourself, but in order to do that, because you have these DNAs, that's why the DNA is designed in the form of, how you say, a ladder, and it's connected, right? And it's connected. So in between that, your spinal cord, right? That helix, that energy that flows through, that is your frequency. But you have these two energies from your generation of your mothers and your generation of the fathers, or the male energies within you, that you have to take all their karma, their pain, their struggle that has been put in the water, programming the water to give to the woman in the egg to form this life that becomes you, that you sprout out, but you are from their root of many, many generations. So now in love, it's number 9, and 9 represents source energy, correct? So now if you have the zeros and one, it brings you to the highest form. That's why the Bible within its code says, ye are gods, right? So these gods they're talking about, it's not this God they're giving you because their God spelling bring you to number 8 because it's a spell. And now I'm going to explain to you in its basic form, since we know the binary is 9 and 2, let me keep truth here, right? And keep that. You know the male and the female. So we're going to erase the male and the female as the 4 and the 7, okay? And then be able to make it very simple for you. The word lie, L-I-E. So L will form right here, number 3, okay? And then I is number 9. So I'm teaching you so you can do this yourself, because now if you watch the first video, I have taken you on a journey because I'm the one teaching you for you to be able to get and learn it for yourself so that nobody can trick you, okay? So the 5 is right here, which is E, is 5, which equals, where's my, there you go. Snake to lie, equals number 17, which equals 8. So now, when I said the English word, the English language was of love, but their behavior didn't show. Now, if you put the English language together, which is number 26, it equals 2 plus 6, because 26 alphabets equals 2, 26 equals 8, and 8 is suabaso below, or a cycle of life, or a bind, or something that keeps you locked up. Now, let me explain what I mean. So, lie is number 8. Their God itself is a lie. Any God, Allah, Jah Rastafari, Krishna, Buddha, all these, they have good teachings. Don't get it wrong. They have the teachings because I explained to you they went through a certain type of war. And after the war, they suppress human abilities to define who they are. So they replace that God, and that God is a cycle. It keeps you in a bind, because when you go to jail, what do you have? You have a chain. Slavery, they had chains. They put you in locks. When they lock you up, you will have a chain. This chain is number 8. If you put it together, it's an 8. Every time you put a handcuff on, it's a lock within something. You're locked within a confinement, which you cannot free yourself, right? So now, when the word spell itself, spell is also number 3, right? So if you put spell, the word spell, because these words form the spelling of words, okay? So spell becomes S-P-E-L-L, right? It is 1, 9, 5, 3, 3, which equals 3, right? Or 21, which equals 3, right? Because 21, break it down, 2 plus 1 becomes 3, right? 21 equals 3. So if somebody's making a spell, they're trying to destroy you from your body, mind, and spirit through your generational, cut you off. When they go to war, they take the women and kill the men. And then they reprogram those women to raise their children in their way of thinking so that they can have them captured body, mind, and spirit, which is your 3. So the spell, which is the English language, because the English language itself is a word of a lie, because it forms number 8, because they form it as 26. So the God they're giving you is a lie. The word lie itself is number 8. Love is number 9, which comes from the divinity or the source itself. So if source is number 9 and love is number 9, it correlates to source power, source energy, or the light itself. But here we have, when I said to you, love was correlating to that. Most people were comfortable with it because I'm the one teaching you and give you the information for you to be able to see the map. That's what they've done to the people. They had the map and they chose for selfish, evil, greedy reasons to be able to capture you because they had the power, they had the resources captured of yours to be able to take advantage of your spirit and body and mind. That's the level of wickedness you're dealing with in this reality. So now the word spell is number 3. So when I told you that the Bible is the basic instruction before leaving earth, and it captures the number 3, which is the Trinity, the body, mind, and spirit, which equals the DNAs, the helix of your body, your spinal cord, and how the energies flow through. And when you put it together, your divinity is supposed to be able to come out and show your own light, not your father's light, not your mother's light, because that generation has come from many, many generations of separation or whatever they had gone through. And that code is always within every blood. That's why they say blood related or blood is thicker than water, because when they say blood is thicker than water, water is the tool to be able to create the blood, right? So once it gets into the body, it becomes thicker than the original form because it's transforming to form some sort of energy. So the DNA code is coded within your blood. So the Trinity that you're supposed to have is locked within a spell, with the Bible is locking you in. The Jah Rastafarians, I have their books. It's the same Bible. The Buddhism, the Bhagavad Gita, I have the book. It's within the same. The Quran is the same. The Bible is the same because they're all Abrahamic religion, some way, somehow relating to this Abraham guy who's trying to take the energies of the human being, number 5, number 32, which is taking the energy of the people, because the people are number 5, which I explain here. Number 5 is also evil. But we'll get back to that. And the people, or the people itself, is also number 5. Okay. So now we have lie, which is number 8, 17. So if the English language equals to that, so now I explained to you guys in the previous early videos before this wars happened, and I explained the story about how the Israelis or the Jewish people were able to use the Hitler energy to be able to create Abraham and all, from Abraham time to Hitler. And this process was maneuvered or played right in front of the people, but people didn't know the history. So now we have the exact same thing happening, the same Jewish people using Donald Trump to be able to create the same thing. And Donald Trump is part of that. Now let's get real close to this stuff. When we're talking about the religion of all the Abrahamic religion, their mother or their father or their great energy comes from the Hebrew language. The first Bibles or the first books of the religion, capitalism and all that came from the Hebrew and Greek, then into English. So the English people are the biggest liars on earth. They use this language to do contract. It's called a con and a tract. To track something in a con way, right? It's not an agreement. It's not a memorandum of agreement or a settlement. It is always a con and a tract. To con something in a tract. I'm tracting something from you, taking something from you. It's a contract. So in their language of itself is 26, which is number 8, and their God has given a contract to Moses in the Bible, who wrote the first history of the Adamic religion or race. And the language itself is a spell which binds Trinity, which is number 3. So if you put the word lie together, the word lie itself represents the God, right? So if their God is lying and their God is a lie, and it's encoded in the spell which locks you into a Trinity, which is the spell, the 3 right here, right? And the whole language is 26. What does that tell you, your reading or the language we're using for our karmas or our religions or our life or governing our political system? Because within our political system, how come this lie of language? They can lie on you. They use the English language. It's the devil's number 1 tool. What the word devil is, I'll explain. The word devil is a development, or the one who develops, because it's told you the snake. I'm rushing to get ahead of myself. I don't want to get you confused, because now I want you to understand how I do it. You use these boards 0 to 9 to be able to explain all this information. If you don't use this language, these numerologies to break down the words, which is the spells that they're using, you will not be able to understand what they are telling you, even if they're speaking, because they speak in double tongue. The Bible says one thing and it contradicts itself in the other, because the Bible itself is a full lie. The word lie is number 8. The God that they're talking about is a liar. He's number 8. All their gods are liars. All of them. It's not that they are liars. These are entities. Christ is an entity. It's a deity. He's not the all-be-all. It's a tool. You can be a Christ. Anybody can be a Christ if you live a perfect example. Just like the president is supposed to be the president. A president means that you are the perfect example, or you're setting the precedent. It's an example of something that has happened that we look up to that to compare other notes. These are deities. The more you give your energy to that deity, the more it spreads around to become that which it is. So if race is number 9, then it's 09. And source energy is number 9, which I explained that is a 0 and a 1, because you have the 0 and the 1 to form the alphabet. And when it gets to the other side, it manifests. And I'm going to explain that in the next video. So the cosmic intelligence, the part 1 was to teach you how deceptive you are, wherever you are, and whatever spirituality in which you are in terms of religion or subscribing to. You're dealing with only deities and people who are using deities to hack your soul. Like when you watch the movie The Matrix, it starts with numbers on the screen, greenery, okay? These numbers are codes. It's not by coincidence that you see them showing numbers in the screen, because these numbers govern the spells of each languages. So there's 26 alphabet and it locks into a 28, and I've showed you number 8 is a cycle. If it's a cycle, it means it goes. So those who have put you in a cycle, they know the season. They know what cycle they put you. Just like I know how I told you love was not love. It was number 9 rather than number 8, just by removing one E. The E, you're making it 4 versus 5, right? And then now it turns into number 9, because now that can't lie. You can do that research on yourself. So since they know what the cycle is, they can program 2,000 years, 100 years, 50 years, because they know the cycle. They know what number and sequence they're on. So when that cycle comes around, it's like somebody going to jail, and then they come out and they're on parole, and they're not following their cycle to be able to become free or join society. And they mess up, one little mess up, they're back again. They fall back into the cycle of systematic, lifestyle of going back and forth to jail, so they cannot be stable. They're always wobbling. So they know the cycle. So number 8 is that if you see people get locked up, the first thing you see, and they put them in locks, is the chains. And I told you their language is a lie. They use this lie to conquer a whole nation, the whole continent, the whole world, and created maps and border lines based out of this English language. They said they were giving the Indians or the native people blankets, and in the process, the blanket of peace and treaty turned into chicken pox. They came in Africa and they said they're giving them schnapps. Meanwhile, the schnapps they were giving them in love and in their language of explaining gave them what? Made the gods drunk. So now people are pouring libation with schnapps. We don't make schnapps in Africa. The Indian don't make blankets like the way those people are giving them blankets that they got the chicken pox. And the irony about it is that this language is coming out of the Spanish language, okay? The Greek language. Have you questioned yourself why the Greeks don't have colonies in Africa? But yet the philosophers of the European civilization, which is the Greeks, don't have colonies in Africa. But the Italians do, the Spanish do, the Portuguese do. And yet this year you saw the World Cup of the Spanish taking over in North America and winning the cup for the first time when it's an English colony, which has become the United States of America or United States of America. So here you go with the code of that binary code explaining that when they lock you in this language, which is 26, which 2 plus 6 equals 8, it equals locking, shackles, a spell. The spell is number 3. The spell is the word. So I'll bring you back on the cosmic number 3 on that course to explain to you what this means in your Bible and why atheist is the key. Because an atheist, how they portray it, because they're liars, to portray and pay people to act like it's a devil worship. And those people who are portraying that devil worship is not the real way of an atheist. Okay? Just to demonize it, make it look bad, so that you don't even want to attract yourself to become an atheist. It's a blank slate. It will not allow you to subscribe to one of their deities and believe. And yet, their deities will give you some magic, but it's not the source light. And therefore, we'll keep recycling ourselves, because we will never ever reach our highest potential, because we follow the deity Christ, Muhammad, Buddha, Krishna, Jah, Rastafari, name it. You understand what I'm saying? So this series is key, because I had to give you the first part in such a sweet way, like, hey baby, hey, these are flowers, you know. Meanwhile, you have to make the baby a garden, but you wouldn't go buy them a flower, and then you kill some. You understand what I mean? Anyways, we'll leave it as that. All love. I'll catch you on part 3 to really break it down. I have to speak fast and be animated and give you the energies, because I'm cracking codes. And I have to make sure it's very simple for the average listener to listen and understand. So spell is number 3. That's why the Bible is number 3, because it's the Trinity. They're locking you up in their spell of the word, which is 26, which is number 8. The divinity of the highest is number 9, which is love. Love is universal in a way. How is it universal? Because it comes from source light. You have it, and you have to practice it, and you have to show it when you tap into it. If you didn't have love in you, your mother would have killed you, your father would have killed you on day 1 when you're born, because they had no love for you, because it's a universal love that binds human